Because even though you do think certain people are agreeing with you, a lot of times those people might actually be scared of you because they don't want to feel the wrath of your opinion. All right, another video. I am so excited to be back with another video. Thank you so much for all of you who have extended your patience to me as I'm still working out how to film with a baby. If you hear a squeaking sound in the background, it's probably him because he is in his swing, just enjoying a little nap right next to me. And that's how we're gonna do it today. So with Valentine's Day coming up, I really wanted to put out a video that not only applies to those of you who are seeking love, but to generally every woman who's looking to better herself, to have that it factor, which is what we're always going for on this channel. For this reason, today's video is going to be about how to become a magnetic woman, also known as how to become an irresistible woman. The reason why I didn't want to use the word irresistible is because I find that magnetic is more so all-encompassing. Like I briefly mentioned, we don't just want to be attractive for whoever we want to attract into a romantic relationship. Maybe you are married and you want to keep the spark alive, or you just want to be the type of person that others are drawn to. As always, my videos aren't comprehensive. The goal of what I put out there is to help you brainstorm ideas or take little pieces of information to inspire femininity in your everyday life. So that being said, every single video I tell you to leave your comments down below on how this applies to your life or some other suggestions, because I know many women do read the comments, and I always appreciate when you hit the like button to help spread the femininity and traditional living message. So a million thanks goes out to you. First things first, let's talk about the obvious. Body language, feminine body language. I have a playlist where you can find various videos I've done throughout the past 3 years on this topic. I know it's been a while since I've made one, and I do want to make another one, particularly on how to take good pictures and perhaps a refresher on feminine walking for the everyday woman. But I have spent quite a while being pregnant and in the postpartum phase, so I just want to wait a little bit more for that. Regardless, go check out those old videos and see how you can improve your feminine body language. Remember, the feminine is openness, receiving. So you want to have a relaxed body language. You want to have a flowy body language. We live in a high pace hustle culture, and the mentality goes along with it. This means that there are many instances where you might not recognize that you are rushing through life. And although we have so many obligations in our 21st century, many of you are moms, several of you have more intensive careers, but we want to just remind ourselves to slow down, to have a pleasant demeanor. I also noticed that there's something to be said about having good conversation. I've noticed in the age of technology, we don't have the same level of attention, and this really shows in our conversations. Oftentimes when you're talking to somebody, they're thinking about the next thing that they could say, or they might be easily distracted by their surroundings. Try to be the type of person that really listens to somebody else, that makes eye contact with them, that tries to focus on what they're saying. This is going to help you become a magnetic woman because people are going to be addicted to having conversations with you. It is so rare to have somebody actually listen to your point of view, to be able to put valuable input and not bring it back to solely self-centeredness. This is going to make such a big difference in your marriage. Many ways that men feel respect is by having a woman listen to them, try to understand them. You don't always have to relate it back to your own personal experience. You don't always have to put out your own opinion in conversation. Learning to include questions that help them open up more is a valuable skill. Asking somebody how they feel, asking them for examples to better illustrate their point. All of these questions are going to help the other person feel as though you actually care. And back to body language, leaning in, gently touching somebody on their shoulder or their forearm. These are all small displays of affection that respect somebody else's personal space because you're not getting too invasive, but you are showing them intimacy. I want to flip-flop with a little bit of a less serious point that I think might help you feel more magnetic because you will feel more put together, and that is to say goodbye to your mismatched undergarments. I've seen a lot of posts where people say that in order to be an irresistible woman, you kind of have to wear lingerie and lacy attire underneath your clothing. And although that might work for you, and go for it if that is something that you enjoy, I don't really think that you have to sacrifice comfort with feeling put together under your clothing. So what I mean by that is invest in some good quality bras as well as underwear that match. Say goodbye to your light blue and your hot pink undergarments if it's so difficult for you to pair them with other things, and go for neutral colors. That way you're setting yourself up on the right foot with a cohesive wardrobe with the first thing that you put on every day. This made such a difference postpartum because I actually bought undergarments that would help me with my C-section. I bought high-waisted undergarments, and you would kind of think granny panties, but there are tasteful undergarments that do provide you with support depending on the season of your life that don't look extremely hideous. And you don't have to go to very expensive lingerie stores in order to get these things. Honestly, going to Walmart, your big department store, Hudson Bay Company if you live in Canada, all of these stores are going to equip you very well with comfortable undergarments that look put together and classy, which will translate to a higher level of confidence for you, therefore making you feel more magnetic. Okay, so back to a more serious note, we are going to talk about trying not to be offended. Over the past couple of weeks and even the past couple of years, there have been so many events in our countries, in North America particularly, that have caused for people to be divided, dehumanizing each other, etc., etc. This isn't a political statement on this channel, but many people have been encouraged to take a harsh stance, not to listen to the other side. And there's a difference between being strongly rooted in your values, and I encourage you to figure out what your values are. For me, those things include things such as loyalty and just being obnoxious with your opinion. We all know that person in our social circle that is extremely aggressive, and a lot of people think that that translates to being strongly rooted in your values, but in reality, it just makes you unapproachable. So I want you to ask yourself, am I saying this certain thing because of my ego, or is it based in my values? And remember that you don't have to have a public opinion on everything. I stumbled upon a content creator the other day who had a wonderful point where she was expressing that you have to learn how to discern different situations where it's appropriate to voice your opinion on said certain topic in the news, for example. And a big factor about being a magnetic woman goes back to conversation. And if you are a person who creates a vibe around you where it's difficult for people to have conversation because you are inappropriately inserting your own opinion all the time, then you are going to find yourself very lonely at the end of the day, because even though you do think certain people are agreeing with you, a lot of times those people might actually be scared of you because they don't want to feel the wrath of your opinion. Next up, I want to encourage you to be more playful. Oftentimes when you think about the traditionally feminine woman, for example, or the classic feminine woman, we think about somebody who is very serious. But this essentially is a fallacy, because being a feminine woman isn't a personality trait, it is a way of being. You can have quirky interests that don't necessarily fit into girlishness. You know, think about things that you were interested in when you were a child or a teenager. A lot of times we push these aside when we step into adulthood, and this causes for us to lose our magnetism, our creativity, our irresistibleness, because everybody wants to be around the person who still has that childlike joy. I used to be a big history buff, for example. Maybe you are into sports. These are all things that will make you more of a dynamic woman, and they don't impede your femininity because, again, they are part of your personality, not the way in which you conduct yourself every single day. The next thing I want to talk about is feminine mystery. There are some wonderful YouTubers out there who have made videos on this topic, so you can search that in YouTube and I'm sure they will pop up. But what I wanted to encourage you to do is to ask yourself, is this person entitled to this particular piece of information about my life? We are in the culture of oversharing because of social media, but not everybody needs to know every single detail. And again, back to your personal opinion, not everybody needs to know your personal opinion on every single little thing. This creates a sense of irresistibleness and magnetism because people want to get to know you if they can't exactly figure you out by first meeting you or by searching you on social media. There's something intriguing as well as frustrating, but frustrating in a good sense, because it's going to cause that person to want to dig deeper. And again, going back to a lighter point, I encourage you to take a polished approach when it comes to your physical appearance. What does this mean for you? It's going to be different. If you look very closely, there was a small stain on my shirt because this morning my baby decided that he wanted to spit up a little bit, which is something that babies do all the time. So being polished for me doesn't mean wearing something that isn't going to get stained throughout the day. Polished for me means putting on a little bit of makeup and making sure that my hair is brushed every single day. If you have the opportunity to go the whole 9 yards on a regular basis, that might be polished for you. In a culture of casual clothing, kind of glorifying the person who doesn't put themselves together, we want to reject that and hold ourselves to a higher standard. Talking about moms in particular, one thing that I found useful is committing myself to certain beauty goals every single day. Let me give you an example. Every other day, I wash my hair and I blow dry it. Committing to this goal means that I might have to stop drying my hair after 2 minutes because my baby's crying, tend to my baby, make sure that he's okay, come back and finish drying my hair. This might be in total an hour-long process, but I commit to getting it done because it is one of my goals in terms of feeling polished. Maybe for you, this is a weekly face mask or doing your nails. This is going to contribute to feeling irresistible as well as magnetic because it is uncommon. And it's going to give you a confidence boost because you have achieved your goal, even if that goal is super small, such as washing your face. And for example, even though I'm a big advocate of wearing dresses because they help me, for you, maybe in your lifestyle, you do like to wear more comfy loungewear. And your goal to feeling put together would be to wear loungewear that is cohesive, not just your t-shirt from summer camp in 2011. And lastly, I wanted to finish off by encouraging you to stop forcing things in your life. My friend Felicia, the Feminine Fancy, many of you are probably subscribed to her, she made a video where she went in depth talking about this. Throughout my life, I found that I was forcing things that weren't in alignment with my personality, particularly when it came to schooling. Schooling is a beautiful thing, but when I reflect back on my choices, I wish that I had gone straight away into something that was of more interest to me rather than have my ego consume me thinking that I am too smart for said particular path. This also reminds me about waiting for the perfect time to do something. There is never a perfect time to do something. If you look at my original videos, the first couple ones, I deleted the first video I ever made, but the second one is not very good. I'm embarrassing myself a little bit. I'm still embarrassing myself on the internet nowadays as well. But look at everything that I've gained from this experience. All of you, people who I consider actual friends as well. Same thing with marriage. I got married young for this region, 22 years old. We were not prepared at all. We took the plunge anyway, and I'm so grateful today for having done that. How is this going to make you a magnetic woman? Taking these risks are going to build your confidence and your resilience. People are so afraid nowadays, saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, failing at something. It's okay to fail at something. I've said this repeatedly on my channel. I want this to be a safe space where we are unafraid to not fit a particular mold of a woman that is continuously pushed on us. And when you start doing these things, you build a momentum. People are going to want to have a little bit, whatever it is, that magic thing that you have. And again, this doesn't mean that you're perfect. You're probably going to fail many times, but you're going to become more irresistible, more magnetic the more that you do it, because you're just not going to care about all of the noise in the background. So that's everything that I have for today's video. Like I mentioned at the beginning, please leave your comments down below, whatever you have to add, even if this is something very superficial to something that is very deep and meaningful. We are all ears on this channel. I want to hear it. I look forward to our next video. It might be a vlog. Perfect timing right now for the end of this video since my baby is waking up. Thank you for hitting the like button. I just wanted to wish you all the best, my sisters in the Femininity Revolution. See you next time. Bye-bye.